How about that, huh? How
Oh,
about that? Golly, man, that game was a blowout.
what a game, Carter. What a game.
Some are saying Dylan single-handedly won the Warrior or won the Nuggets this game.
Some are saying Dylan doesn't know who Brett Favre is either.
Yeah, how did he not get that reference? That was insane. He didn't get that reference
I'm not sure Dylan started watching NFL until like 3 years ago.
until we started the pod.
My
Nice.
Twitter just crashed. That's awesome.
Nice. Let's go retweet it from all accounts and everything.
This should be fun. I
This,
think we're
this
gonna
is
have
gonna be a
some
fun
good
pod. This is gonna be
good
a
chat
fun
members
pod,
in here.
Connor.
We haven't spoken in a while. It's been what, since last week or week and a half
Yeah,
ago? Yeah.
yeah. It's been a minute. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Okay, let me just get the YouTube stuff ready to roll, and we'll be going. Oh man, Connor.
First round didn't go as well as I thought it would for me.
That's what we got to talk about.
Some are questioning my commitment to knowing ball.
Some are saying you're. So, yeah, the ball knowing. The TikTok comments already started coming in. I logged into the TikTok for about 2 seconds, and I logged
Um,
immediately back out.
oh, was it the video of me like from like a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
It was like from our preview, yeah.
Oh, from the Clippers shit. Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
Clippers, yeah.
Yeah, we get into that.
At least you had a take. That's all I'm saying. You know?
Exactly.
All right. Let's get this all in here. How about that? How about that?
I have a feeling the TikTok comments are going to be in full force when college football season kicks back off, and I have some Carolina takes to get off my chest.
Let's talk about that on today. Let's talk about that today.
Okay, we can talk about it.
We got to talk about everything. Okay, we should be good on just about everything. So I think we're ready to rock and roll. So
All
you
right,
ready? Let's start
let's
this
do it.
podcast. All right, 3, 2, 1. We're live. We are live right now. We're actually live Saturday, May 3rd, 8:13 p.m. Mountain Time. That's right. We're doing it from Mountain Time, Connor. I don't get many more Mountain Time podcasts. We're eventually going to be Eastern Time soon. So anyhow, recording right now, right after the Nuggets absolutely dominated the Clippers. Look, there's really not much to break down from this game individually. From a series as a whole, it was, I guess, classic Clippers fashion in a way, but like, I'm not necessarily sitting here like that disappointed with the Clippers. Like, I don't think they necessarily choked like classic Clippers. I just think the Nuggets were a buzzsaw tonight.
There wasn't any choking by the Clippers, and the series as a whole was competitive. You know, the Clippers won, was it game 3 where they blew them out, and then game 5 the Nuggets blew out the Clippers, and then most of the other games were close other than tonight. It wasn't a choke. It was just, you know, that Aaron Gordon game winner put back lob was the series. Like if you're the Clippers, you come all the way back and you don't steal that game, that really felt like the turning point. I don't think it was a choke though.
No, I don't think it was a. I don't think it was like Josh Smith going bananas against the Clippers type choke. But I mean, you look at the Clippers going forward. It's like how many more chances do we have with James Harden? How many more chances do we have with Kawhi Leonard? Let's get to the Clippers a little bit later. We got to start with the
Okay.
winners here, Connor,
Yeah, you're
because
right.
you're coming in this series. You're coming in hot. You're sitting here going, "Oh, Nuggets and the Nuggets are done. They don't have any depth." Christian Brown, they go, white boy can't do anything. Oh, the Clippers are going to whoop these fools. Meanwhile, you bet against the best player in the NBA, Connor. You bet against the best player in the NBA.
And to be fair, the Nuggets don't have any depth. Let's start. They don't have any depth. They have 5.5 players. They have 6 players. And I did bet against the best player in the NBA, but you know, the Clippers did what they could to contain him. His stats the last few games have not been insane, but everybody else around him has stepped up. And that's something I didn't expect is Michael Porter Jr. with a hurt shoulder hitting shots. Russell Westbrook off the bench being a key factor. Aaron Gordon, probably the best player, I mean, MVP of the series, maybe besides Jokic. He's been dynamite every game, just consistent. And then Jamal Murray not putting up huge numbers, but still hitting timely shots. I just didn't expect the Nuggets to have that sort of consistency, if you want to be honest. I kind of expected that from the Clippers, which I know is crazy to say, but I think you're right. I don't know how much more we see of LA because the stars aligned this year. Kawhi Leonard, healthy, playing 40 minutes a night going into the playoffs. James Harden arguably will make All-NBA third team. Zubac has a chance to make All-NBA third team. The stars aligned for this Clippers team this year going into the playoffs, which we never see, and they lose in round one in a hard-fought series. So that might be their only, I don't want to say the window's shut, but it probably is.
Yeah, you'd like to say it lasts another year. Maybe someone in free agency looks at the Clippers and go, hey, I'd like to come play there.
Maybe. I mean, it's LA. You never know. But wouldn't you rather go play with Luka?
No.
No? Oh,
I don't think I want to play with Luka Doncic.
Okay, Nico.
Also, wouldn't you want to just go play with Jokic? Like if you're
I've been saying that for the last 3 years though, and you still look at their bench and it's horrible. I've been saying that for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Shout out the Nuggets though. I took the Nuggets in this game. I took the Nuggets in this series. I had no idea. I didn't think there was a chance the Nuggets could have blown out the Clippers today. And I was also super disappointed. The Clippers kind of gave up early in this game, it felt like.
Well,
we were texting in the second quarter. It was a 10-point game, and we go, you know what? The Clippers are probably coming back in this one. We've seen how this series has gone. I mean, the third quarter started, it looked like the Clippers had already booked their tickets to Cancun.
Denver hit a couple shots to start the half. I mean, it was a 17-3 run. But after the first few possessions, Denver's up like 13, 15 points. You're right. The Clippers looked like they were done. Not crashing the glass, giving up offensive rebounds off free throws, giving up wide open threes off bad rotations. I mean, you saw it. Kawhi Leonard and whoever else go double the ball, double Jokic, double Murray. That's the plan. 0 rotations. Christian Brown had 4 or 5 3-pointers wide open, nobody within 10 feet of him. And the Clippers just standing there like, throwing their hands up.
Yeah, it was Christian Brown, it felt like every single time. It was very reminiscent of watching the Lakers Timberwolves, honestly, where
it was just wide open.
Naz Reid's butt naked in the corner, wide open three, bang, every single time. Dylan Wilkerson is in the chat and said, Connor, get Jack his chilies.
There will be an exchange of a triple dipper, the funds for a triple dipper after this podcast. I'm going to have to log into the Venmo.
Connor, let's get to the first round stuff. Your first round predictions, man. You had the Clippers. You had the Bucks. You had the Lakers. Did you have anybody else that lost?
No, I think I hit on all the other ones.
You had the Rockets. That's up in the air.
I did take Rockets in 7. Yeah, I did take Rockets in 7.
That's up in the air still. So people are questioning it, Connor.
Questioning? No, they
the ball knowing.
The ball knowing?
Do you? I talked to Chase about this the other day. Do you feel stupid about the Lakers series? Because we all picked the Lakers, obviously. In hindsight, it was the easiest thing on planet Earth to pick the Timberwolves. And I'm so mad at myself because all season long I go, this Lakers, they're playing hard on defense in the regular season. Okay, fine, like whatever. You do in the regular season, that's all good and whatnot. But come playoff time, they're going to get exposed. And then I still bought into the propaganda of, Luka, LeBron, Reeves, they've been there, LeBron, all this. I'm pissed I bought into that because their defense was awful.
I bought into it too, and it's like, just the shiny new thing. It's Luka, LeBron, and big names and guys that have been in so many big games. And in my mind, I just thought they would overcome that. Genuinely. I just thought, yes, their defense sucks at times. Yes, they have no size. Yes, their depth and their bench is very questionable at best. But I just thought the talent of those top 2-3 guys would come through. Because what I saw from the Wolves all year wasn't great. Like, Julius Randle wasn't a great fit all year. Gobert, I didn't feel like was going to have a great series, which he didn't until the closeout game. But still, I was just drawn in to the potential of the Lakers on offense, and I just didn't realize that, hey, they only have 5 guys that can really play in a playoff game and trust. Yeah. And one of those guys is 40 years old, and the other one doesn't play defense.
Yeah, we'll get into more of that in a little bit. Let's close up with the Nuggets Clippers stuff. I know I'm jumping all
Yeah.
over the place.
No,
I'm
let's do
just
it.
excited to talk NBA. Back to the Nuggets Clippers stuff. I, I don't I don't know how I feel about the Nuggets going forward. I
don't
want
want
to
to.
I want to pick them so bad against the Thunder, but I feel like whatever I pick in this series, I'm getting burned by.
I'm gonna be accused of being a Nuggets hater, but I don't see any world they win the next round.
So what are you
I
going?
real
Thunder and what?
6.
That's a wuss answer. You want to say 5.
I do want to say 5, but I'm not gonna do it because Jokic proved he's clearly the best player in the world. I'll go Thunder in 6. I think game 1. It was good that Denver was up so big and Jokic got that big rest. He subbed out with 2:25 left in the third, and then came back for like 2 minutes at the end of the game when it
That was
pretty much
stat
out of
padding
reach.
at the end, wasn't it?
No, I actually don't mind that. They're up like 18 with 3 minutes left. You kind of have to. You never know. You hit 5 threes in a row, and you never know. But Jokic got most of that fourth quarter off to rest, which is good for game 1 since it's on Monday night. But I don't see a world. I don't see a world they beat OKC. But I want to give them all the flowers tonight. They were a buzzsaw. They clearly gave a shit more than the Clippers did, and you saw it on every possession. Tipped offensive rebounds, wide open threes. The Clippers really just gave up early on, and I don't want to rag on James Harden too much, but 7 points on 2 for 8 shooting, 2 free throw attempts. It's not like he played poorly, like he didn't lose in the game, but he didn't do anything to help them win. When you've been playing at that level and you're supposed to be the number 2 guy on a team in a game 7, you have to do more. You just have to be more aggressive. I don't want to see him going 2 for 8. I want to see him going 2 for 18. At least that means he's aggressive, trying to get to the rim, taking shots. He just was invisible for a lot of the game out there.
He was, and he did have 13 assists, so you want to give him credit there and whatnot, but
you didn't feel it. You did not feel it.
That's what I'm saying. It was kind of empty stats. It felt quiet. It was too quiet, like you were saying. And yeah, this is gonna just go down as another James Harden game. Unfortunately, where I don't think this is as bad as some of his other ones in the past, but I mean, it wasn't anything to brag about, and this is just who he is, and it's just what it is now. Like, there's no going back on the James Harden stuff. We get it. This is just what it is in the playoffs, and I'm sure you listened to the same podcast where Austin Rivers was talking about. It's like, look, he's a rhythm player. Once he gets into rhythm, in the playoffs, you got to play out of rhythm, and that's when you got to be able to adjust like that, and Harden just doesn't adjust.
But the thing is, well, yeah, he doesn't adjust, number one. You're right. But tonight, especially, there was no rhythm for the Clippers. The Nuggets came out to start the third 17-3 run. You call a timeout, sure, like, Ty Lue calls a timeout. There was nobody to get the Clippers back on track. It wasn't James Harden. It wasn't Kawhi Leonard. It wasn't Norm Powell, who was 4 for 11. Nobody was able to stop the bleeding for the Clippers and be like, hey, let me, sit down, get a stop, and get a defensive rebound, and then go get a basket on the other end. Nobody was able to do that. So there was no rhythm tonight. And you're right. It was herky-jerky in the second half. The Clippers could not buy a basket. And everything the Nuggets put up went in. And the home crowd behind them, it was just kind of the perfect storm.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm. I mean, nobody was missing either at the same time. And, yeah, I was just really surprised that the Clippers actually gave up in the way they did. I thought they'd have more fight, especially in the second half. And shout out the Nuggets. They were awesome tonight. And I feel like every Nuggets fan and honestly everybody watching this game, going into this game, had PTSD from the Timberwolves series last year and the Timberwolves Game 7 from last year, and go, I don't know how I feel about the Nuggets going into Game 7 at home. We've seen this a little bit before, especially with, look, you're relying on Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook to hit big shots. I don't know, and they get it done again. And I did this with Chase earlier in the week, but, man, imagine if Jokic goes to the finals.
With the talent in the West this year, I've said it before, that would be one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in sports.
I understand, was it 2015 LeBron went to the finals without basically Kevin Love and Kyrie for a lot of it. LeBron, the 07 finals, but he was playing in the East. And he was playing in a very, very weak East. The West is by far the better conference. There's so much talent. And arguably they're going through the hardest path possible of Clippers, Thunder, and then either Warriors or Timberwolves most likely. So if you're going through that path, and then you got to face, hey, your prize is you get to face Boston in the finals. If Jokic won the finals, it would be the most impressive finals run I've ever seen in my life.
It would be, especially if they capped it off, like you said, the finals like that. But even if they beat OKC, if they make the Western Finals, it's still one of the most impressive runs I've seen.
Now, I am so excited for this because SGA is obviously going to win MVP. That'll get announced during this series. But let's say the Nuggets win this series. Jokic averages 35, 15, and 15 this series, or some ridiculous number, let's say. Everybody's going to do the LeBron revisionist history going, oh, Jokic should have won MVP. Even though if I had a vote, Jokic would have been my MVP, just putting that out there, regardless what happens in this series. But we are going to see that whoever wins this series is going to be every NBA casual's MVP.
Well, yeah, that's what it's going to be, even though it's a regular season award. And the fact that we get to see the two, top MVP candidates face off in the second round is a luxury, and it's going to be fun. But to see it, like, when does MVP get announced? It'll be during that series, won't it?
It's during the series, yeah. I think it'll be during. I think is it Monday night?
I don't know, but that's going to be great.
I think it's next week. I'll look it up. I'll get stats department on it real quick. But
I am curious to see. Christian Braun did a pretty damn good job guarding James Harden for the most part as a whole of this series. I thought Christian Braun was great on ball defense. I'll be curious to see what they do against the Thunder. I'll be curious to see. I assume it'll be Christian Braun starting on SGA. A lot of traps, a lot of help. I'm curious to see how they defend this Thunder team because there's a lot more options and a lot more lineup combinations the Thunder can throw at you than LA could.
Game 2 is when it's announced.
Man, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Because we all know it's SGA's award, right?
Well, right, yeah.
So we'd obviously bet every Jokic prop imaginable in Game 2, right?
So here's what's probably gonna happen: Thunder win Game 1, maybe handily. MVP gets announced. Jokic dominates Game 2. Denver ties the series.
Puts on a show, and everyone's like, "Did we make a mistake? Should Jokic have been the MVP?" We'll probably be live after the game saying. I would have picked Jokic. I want that out there. But
how do you feel about the series?
I feel I'm so excited for this series because look, it's one of those things where it's almost like the Super Bowl this past year where on paper there's no reason the Eagles should lose that game. Everything else on the football field, the Eagles had the advantage, except quarterback and except head coach. And head coach, NBA doesn't really matter as much. But in the NBA, it's best player versus everything else that the Thunder have. And so we'll see. I mean, I'm going to pick the Nuggets in 7.
No, you're not.
I'm picking the Nuggets in 7, Connor. I'm riding the Nikola Jokic train.
I can't blame you.
And I'm okay getting burned. I'm okay getting burned on this one. And look, this is probably a dumb pick. I'm not going to go on here and say, this is definitive and whatnot. And I'm not walking back this take or anything, but I've been so high on Nikola Jokic, and I'm just curious to see how the Thunder defend him because I don't know if they can. I think he averages a historic number and stat line this series.
Well, because the Thunder have so many great defenders, especially on the wing, do you think it's one of those series where Jokic, you can have 40, 15, and 8?
Yes.
But we are not letting Jamal Murray have 30. We're not letting Aaron Gordon have 30. We're not letting Michael Porter Jr. or Christian Braun have wide open threes. Yes. I just wonder how Jokic counters that because I do feel like that's what's going to happen. They're going to stick Hartenstein on him for 38 minutes and be like, work your ass off for 40 points. But we're not going to let, like even tonight in Game 7, 6 Denver Nuggets had 15 or more points. I don't think the Thunder are going to let that happen.
Can I make a prediction in this series?
You can.
There's going to be one game that the game is decided by Russell Westbrook at the buzzer in OKC. Whether it's good or bad, one game is getting decided by Russell Westbrook at the buzzer in OKC.
There's going to be no shortage of fireworks from him. He's going to be fired up. He's going to be fired up. I don't know. I respect the pick, and if you want to put all your eggs in the MVP, the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic's basket, then that's fine. I can't argue that.
I just don't know how they defend him.
Well, how are the Nuggets going to defend all the Thunder depth? The Thunder starting 5. How are they going to defend that?
Fair.
Because the thing is, if you're the Thunder, your whole bench arguably is better than Denver's bench. Like, who on Denver's bench would play for OKC? I guess Westbrook, but that's it.
DeAndre
Maybe
Jordan
not.
might be the coach.
Yeah, exactly. Like Peyton Watson, you're not getting minutes on OKC. It's just the thing where you saw it with the Clippers. They had, some lineup problems. They, couldn't really play Chris Dunn much. Bogdanovich was hit or miss. They couldn't play Ben Simmons. They didn't have the depth that OKC will have. But the thing is, if OKC has a lineup that's struggling, they can switch it up. Hey, Aaron Wiggins, you come in and get, 15 points. Hey, Caruso, come in and just make Jamal Murray's life hell for 25 minutes. They've got the options that the Clippers, I don't think, had. I can't pick against the Thunder here, Carter. I can't do it.
That's fair. It
should be an exciting series, though.
I feel like, Connor, you're buying into propaganda too much.
I don't know if it's propaganda.
I feel like you're buying into every team's propaganda a little too much. Giannis is the best player in the world. Ooh, the Lakers and LeBron and Austin Reeves and Luka. No, they don't need a center. That's stupid. They don't need a center. We don't care about that. I don't know. Maybe just the Clippers. They've been so hot as of recent. The Clippers, they're not going to blow a first round playoff series. I don't know. I think maybe you're buying into the propaganda too much.
I won't lie, Carter. The first round was rough. It took me for a roller coaster ride. Lakers bad, Bucks bad, which that was just underestimating the Pacers. And then this series. I don't feel bad about really any of those picks except, like you said, the Lakers in hindsight was probably the one where we should have realized what was going on.
And especially, should have thrown us off that every single person in this world was picking the Lakers.
Yeah, and the Timberwolves were playing well down the stretch.
I didn't hear one person saying Timberwolves. And so Jack is in the chat. He said, going live during the Avs game is criminal. It's 2-2 in Game 7. I know, that's brutal. I got it on in the background right now. So.
We're not a hockey show. Is it 2-2 now?
It's 2-2. Yeah, they blew a 2-0 lead.
Oh, no.
2-0 lead. Most dangerous lead in sports.
It is. It's not a hockey show, though. If that... You know what, Jack? I hope the Avs win for you, just to top off a magical night.
Please. 2 Colorado Game 7s. I like the Nuggets. I think it's more wishful thinking that I want the Nuggets in 7, if I'm being honest. Because I just want to see a historical run by Jokic because, like I said, I talked about this with Chase on the last show. It's what player have we seen with this little depth around him do this much for his team and take this team this far? And you go back, like, it's only three other players outside of Jokic in NBA history have won the NBA Finals without a current All-Star on their team. Hakeem in 94, Dirk in 11, and then Kawhi in 2019. Biggest asterisk on it ever, by the way. But, like, and even those guys on those teams, like, they had dudes who were on, the Dirk 2011 Mavs one is in its own stratosphere, in my opinion.
But to be fair, the league is deep enough now with enough talent where, 15 years ago, Jamal Murray would have been an all-star every single year.
Every single year?
I think so. 15 years ago, when you look at where the league was, you had, Mo Williams rounding out the all-star team. Come on. If this was early 2000s, Jamal Murray would be an
early 2000s
all-star.
Probably, but early 2010s, no.
I don't know. I think it's close. I think the league's so deep now where Jamal Murray is an all-star caliber player, even though he's not an all-star. Like, with that Dirk Mavs run, there was legitimately, Jason Kidd, Jason Terry? They're not all-stars.
Sean Marion.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think Jamal Murray.
Brendan Haywood was on that team, right?
He was.
Shout out.
Tyson Chandler. Yeah.
Tyson Chandler. He was good.
It'd be impressive.
He played a great finals that series.
Would you be shocked if the Thunder just were a buzzsaw in the second round and it was 4-1?
A little.
Would you be stunned?
A little.
I don't think I'd be shocked. And all of Denver's flaws come to the surface. No depth. Maybe Westbrook and Aaron Gordon aren't hitting too many shots. Michael Porter Jr.'s shoulder flares up.
But are you concerned a little bit at how the Thunder played against the Grizzlies? Just a little bit?
No.
Really?
Why would I be concerned about that? That series
played with their food
almost
quite a
nothing
bit
to me.
They played with their food quite a bit in that series.
They could. They're playing against Santi Aldama.
This is a little shaky for me.
That series meant absolutely nothing to me. The comeback was nice, but I put no stock into that first round series.
The comeback was nice and whatnot, but if Ja was playing that game, Thunder aren't winning that game. Let's be 100% honest.
It would have been 4-1.
Yeah, it would have been 4-1 in that series. Maybe 4-2.
I don't know.
Game four, the Grizzlies blew again.
They did. That is true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
I'm excited though.
I just don't think, and maybe all my words will come back to bite me. I just don't have that feeling that the Thunder are this historical team, that they're in the same stratosphere as the 2015 through 18 Warriors type deal, or even the Celtics of last year. I don't feel like they're in quite that tier yet, in my opinion.
Not yet, but after this year they could be. What if they just steamroll their way to the finals and win the whole thing?
I don't see them being. If they beat Boston, then yes, but okay. I don't see them being Boston.
The thing with the OKC Denver series is, like I said, OKC has so many guys to throw at you. They won't get tired. They won't run out of defenders. They won't run out of guys to make shots. I don't think. There's too many options there. And now they can go big as well with Chet and Hartenstein. That was their Achilles heel, was Chet's getting killed down low. Now they've got two guys down there. They can roll Chet off the ball. And yes, Aaron Gordon's great in that dunker spot off ball of Jokic. But with Chet guarding him, that's a lot different with a 7'6" wingspan there, instead of Kawhi Leonard's a great defender, but instead of him or like James Harden down there, which we saw a lot.
I'm curious to see how Chet deals with Aaron Gordon's physicality in this game. Or in this series.
It'll be, yeah. I feel like Chet's length will bother him, though, because Aaron Gordon saw a lot of Norm Powell, James Harden, Derek Jones. Not a ton of size.
I don't know. I kind of almost want to zag in a way where I feel like Chet's going to get quite a few Aaron Gordon's going to get quite a few offensive foul calls in the series because he's just going to throw Chet into the second row of the bleachers.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where he just stops on a dime, throws his left arm out a little bit, and Chet flies.
I think it's going to be a lot of, Aaron Gordon lowering his shoulder, but then Chet still having the wingspan enough to tip the ball or like tip his layup against the backboard. I could see that.
So you're going Thunder in 6?
I'm going Carter. I want to so bad. I want to say 5.
Change your pick.
Thunder in 5.
I did it on the last show. I said we did a Cavs Pacers preview. I said I'll go Cavs, and I was like I'll go Cavs in 6, and I was being a wuss, and I was like, you know what, Cavs in 5. Don't overthink it. Quickly, Cavs Pacers. What do you like?
That's going to be a weird one. See, going into it, I was like, oh, Cleveland, no problem. The Pacers kind of match up with them, if we're being completely honest. I think the pace the Pacers play at, it's going to give them
even
problems.
With the bigs?
Well, that's the thing. The Pacers, the pace they play at, are they going to be able to play Jared Allen 35 minutes a game? I don't know.
My favorite question was, I asked Chase this, who do you trust at the end of games in this series between the Cavs and the Pacers?
It's got to be Donovan Mitchell.
I think Donovan Mitchell's the right answer, but I don't think Halliburton's that far behind. I feel like it's pretty close.
Well, the Pacers have been playing great, and their bench has been playing great. It should be a better series than maybe what the sports books think it'll be. I could see that going 6. See, my pick would be Cavs in 6.
Okay, that's what Chase said as well.
What do you think?
I think he might have said Cavs in 7, actually. I said Cavs in 5. I think the 5. Cavs are going to run away with this one.
That's another thing where I wouldn't be shocked if the Cavs just turn up the heat a little bit and the Pacers a little bit shell-shocked. Because the Cavs have been,
Because I also don't think we realize how bad the Bucks were and how much Giannis was covering up the holes of that terrible Bucks team.
I agree, but how much stock do you put into that versus the Pacers had a series to really get right, fill each other out. They had that big comeback to close out the series, and now they're kind of rolling and they're playing together, and Nembhard's been great, and Siakam's been good in spots, and Turner's been hitting threes. Like, maybe that's what they needed, was a get-right series.
But I like the talent in Cleveland more, though, and I feel like Cleveland's in that groove as well, too. And I think Mobley has a big series.
I think you're right. I don't know if Siakam's going to be able to guard him.
No. I mean, you saw Giannis is a different player, obviously. I'm not saying Giannis and Mobley are the same player, but we saw what Siakam did with him. But anyhow.
This should be a fun series, though.
Yeah. If you want to see more about our Cavs Pacers preview, we did that. It's on the YouTube channel for you. So Nuggets, Clippers, that one's done, dusted. Nuggets in 7. We already talked about the Nuggets, Thunder. We don't need to dive into that anymore. Quickly, Rockets, Warriors, Game 7 predictions.
I'm not confident either way, Carter. I'm really not. Because normally you'd be like, oh, take the experienced, tough Warriors team. But it's in Houston, and Houston's kicked their ass recently. I don't know what to do.
I feel really bad about I'm Warriors fan number one here.
I do know that.
I don't feel good about the Warriors in the slightest here.
The line keeps moving towards Houston. They're -2.5 right now.
They're -2.5, and I think they figured out something with these bigger lineups with Steven Adams in. And you saw
I think so too.
You saw Steve Kerr in Game 6. I did not like how he was intentionally fouling Steven Adams. Steven Adams was fine from the free throw line. I think he went 5 of 6 in those 3 times they fouled him off ball.
He was 9 for 16 overall.
9 for 16 overall. Look,
it's good enough.
I don't like that because I think that throws the Warriors out of their rhythm so much on offense because so much of their rhythm is getting to the flow, fast-paced moving. When it's so herky-jerky stop with free throws, then you're getting forced into your half-court offense where the Warriors' best game is kind of, okay, getting the ball and going. And I did not like that from Steve Kerr. I thought that was a bad move, and the bigger lineups prevailed.
You know what that screams to me is we can't get a rebound, we can't box out, we can't guard, and we can't play a bigger lineup because our offense doesn't work with it. So we're screwed. So we're going to have to resort to hack a Steven Adams, which imagine saying that in the year 2025. That screams to me that Steve Kerr is searching for answers. Even though they were up 3-1 and then, in the game last night 3-2 in the series, he didn't have the answers. He made lineup changes. He was intentionally fouling Steven Adams. He was throwing this guy in, that guy in, that screams to me that they don't have an answer for that Houston bigger lineup. So you're right. In a Game 7, I feel like Houston has the upper hand. They found something with these lineups. And I know Curry and Draymond and Jimmy Butler, those guys you want to trust at the end of a game. But what if it doesn't get to the end of the game? What if it's not tied with a minute left? What if Houston's just up 10 and the game's over?
That's what we saw last night.
Yeah, I don't know. Because if you're the Warriors, do you want to play Quentin Post 25 minutes? No, you don't. Can you play Kevon Looney? You really can't. Is Trace Jackson Davis playing? No. Where do you turn? Because the Draymond at the 5 is not going to work with Ime Udoka on the other sideline. He's figured something out.
Yeah, I think they've been figured out a little bit. Plus, the Warriors have been dealing with injuries. They are older. And this Houston athleticism is so real. And these dudes are so young. I don't feel great about the Warriors. If I did make a pick, I'm taking the Rockets to beat the Warriors in Game 7, which sounds crazy betting against Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, and Draymond and Jimmy Butler in a Game 7, youth against experience and everything, but I just don't know if the Warriors have answers for some of these Rockets lineups.
Counter. If you're Adam Silver, you've already lost LeBron and Luka. You need Steph Curry in the next round.
Now you're speaking my language, Connor.
Because his wet dream was Lakers-Warriors round 2. LeBron versus Steph, the final chapter in the playoffs. All of a sudden, Anthony Edwards spoiled that party. You need Steph in the second round. Because let's be honest, Timberwolves-Rockets, as fun of a series as that would be for most real fans, that's not drawing in the casual viewer.
I am okay if let's say the Warriors win tomorrow, I would allow every Rockets fan to use that conspiracy.
I would too. Because if you really think about it, what kind of promotional graphic is it if it's Anthony Edwards versus Steph Curry, or it's Anthony Edwards versus Şengün, or Anthony Edwards versus Jalen Green, maybe,
Amen Thompson,
Fred VanVleet? That doesn't hold the same weight. And as a basketball fan, I think it'd be a great series, Houston, Minnesota. I think that'd be a great series.
Houston, Minnesota, Game 1 over/under.
Oh my gosh, 195.
Yeah, I think it's Magic Celtics all over again.
I just want to see Anthony Edwards get hounded by Amen Thompson and Tari Eason and Dylan Brooks for 48 minutes. I think that would be hilarious.
Steven Adams versus Rudy Gobert. That would be great.
Somebody's getting thrown to the floor, texts everywhere. It'd be a fun series, but from a viewership standpoint, from a popularity standpoint, you want Steph Curry in the second round. So I am curious to see what happens, although it's on the road in Houston. So
yeah, I'm picking Houston tomorrow.
I am too. I think it's one of those things where the Warriors just run out of gas. And, Butler probably has a big game. Curry probably shoots 23s. But I think it's just going to be too much Houston.
I love that people are going to listen to this podcast right after. They're going to be listening to it maybe even Monday morning, and they're like, what idiots. They said the Rockets are going to win.
I know. Warriors won by 20. No, I think being at home and not in the Chase Center for Houston is huge for a Game 7. It really is. Because if these roles were reversed, I don't know if I would do the same thing.
And I think on top of all that is also, if you're the Warriors, they've got to stop getting out to these slow starts. Every single game you turn on, and let's say you turn on the game with 5 minutes in, it's like 7 minutes left in the first quarter. You're like, it's already 23-11. What is happening? Now,
Yeah.
it feels like every single game the Rockets have won, the Warriors have gotten out to this super, super slow start, and it worked. They came back in Game 3 miraculously. They're going to need a massive game out of Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler's going to have almost a near triple-double. He's going to have 28 and 8 tomorrow. But we have to have a vintage Steph game, and I don't know if that's in there with the way the Rockets are defending him right now.
I agree with you on that. I think the way the Rockets are defending him, they're really making him work. And I would love to see Steph have 35 points. It's going to be tough. And the other thing is, you mentioned the slow starts. Steve Kerr doesn't have 7 guys he can trust. He doesn't have a rotation he can trust. He was up 3-1 in the series and still making starting lineup changes. It's roulette with Buddy Hield and Pajemski. And, Moses Moody's now coming off the bench, barely playing. Gary Payton, Quentin Post. It's just roulette. It's, hey, can I get 2 of these guys to be serviceable tonight? And really the last couple games, he hasn't had that. Yet we still haven't seen Jonathan Kuminga. But in Game 7, Steve Kerr was asked, could we see him in Game 7? He said it's definitely on the table. So he's going to throw out Jonathan Kuminga in Game 7 after he hadn't played all series, besides the one Jimmy Butler game that he missed.
Yeah, there's obviously something
which is a mistake.
Going on. I feel like every single NBA podcast has talked about like Steve Kerr, Jonathan Kuminga. That relationship's done.
I just don't understand how this guy was averaging 18 points a game for long stretches of the regular season, and he can't even get 15 minutes in a playoff game when you have guys like Buddy Hield going 0 for 7, or Gary Payton not being able to shoot the ball, or you're playing, Moses Moody has been actually okay. But I cannot believe that Kuminga can't crack that rotation, especially when they're struggling to score like this, especially when the Warriors are begging for athletes on defense to help them rebound. Hey, you got a 6'9" freak athlete who can really score the ball and help on the glass, and he can't get minutes. I think that's insane. I think you have to try it. But maybe Game 7's the wrong time to try it for the first time. I don't know. It's mind-numbing, some of the Steve Kerr rotation stuff. It's mind-numbing.
Unless Curry has a big game tomorrow, and he's got to come. Curry's been coming out of the gate slow. You can tell he's been trying to every night, every first quarter with Curry lately has felt like it's all been game ones where he's doing the feel-out thing a little bit. And they've got to come out of the gates hot. They cannot get down 10 and play catch up the entire effing game, and they've been doing that so many times. And yeah, I think that happens tomorrow as well.
I want to give Ime Udoka a lot of credit. He's got this team really, even though they're the 2 seed, they are playing with the nobody believes in us mantra. He has got them right. And Fred VanVleet too. That's somebody who going into the series, I was like, I don't know how good of a series VanVleet's going to have. It feels like his time's kind of passed. He has been money the last 4 games. Great. So I'm going to shout out both of them.
Every time he's taking a shot, Fred VanVleet, I'm like, oh, that's in. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that Curry?
It's insane. Some of the shots he's making is unbelievable.
And then the other thing is, last thing on this stuff, and then we'll move on. The Rockets are going to be in every trade this offseason. And Chase and I talked a little bit about Giannis or KD. But after Shams talked about the Celtics are exploring options of getting rid of guys. And I know everyone's talking about, it's going to probably be Drew and Kristaps. What if Ime Udoka's like, I want to get my guy Jaylen Brown back?
It's not crazy. It's not crazy.
There's like, you know what? We'll send a couple of our young pieces, some picks, and we'll get Jaylen Brown in here.
They would have to overpay. But with Boston new ownership, like I said, with the luxury tax bill coming up, there's a good chance that somebody from that Celtics starting 5 is the odd man out. Could it be Jaylen Brown, who's taken a clear step back this year? If they can get 120 cents on the dollar for him and you're Boston, maybe you do it. I don't know. That's crazy. They won the championship last year. They're probably going to repeat this year. So let's slow down. But.
They're probably going to repeat. I know exactly. All right. Anything else from the Western Conference? I mean, I would do a Timberwolves, Rockets, Warriors preview thing, but we don't. I want to wait until Game 7's played out.
I'll be honest, I do too. The Wolves probably advance either way, the way they're playing.
I definitely think so against the Rockets. I don't know. I don't think the Warriors match up horribly. It depends what Rudy Gobert we're getting. Are we getting Game 5 Rudy Gobert, or are we getting Games 1 through 4 Rudy Gobert in a Warriors series?
Why wouldn't Chris Finch just do the same damn thing the Rockets are doing if they play the Warriors and just play Gobert and Julius Randle and or Naz Reid? Just play the double bigs. That's what they normally do. Houston hasn't done that all year. There's been no double big lineups till the very end of the season for Houston when Steven Adams got in the rotation, and they're still having success. The Wolves have done it 82 effing games and all 7 games in the Lakers series. Why wouldn't they keep doing it? That's what works. I think the Wolves would kick the Warriors' ass. I'll be honest.
You do?
I don't. The Rockets are taking them to Game 7, Carter. The Rockets. Guess who the Rockets don't have? A closer like Anthony Edwards. Guess who else they don't have? A closer like Julius Randle. I would take either one of them over anybody on the Rockets team.
Did you say a closer like Julius Randle?
I was being facetious because the Rockets don't have a closer.
Say,
but still, like, would Julius Randle be the best closing option on Houston? He would. He would.
Yeah, I guess.
He would. You need a bucket? You need a bucket? I think he would be.
I think he would be getting the ball at the end of games, and that's a scary thought.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Do you think if the Rockets strike out on all these dudes, they're like, Brandon Ingram, come on down? I know the Rockets just extended him.
I would hope they would have more patience than that. If they don't get the number 1 or 2 guy they want, they should just wait it out. Somebody else will be pissed.
Well, unless they're like, hey, Miles Bridges, we'd love you down in Houston.
Yeah, we'll give you Amen Thompson for him. Oh, sure. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. Yeah.
So you think the Warriors had a chance against the Wolves if they win tomorrow?
Yeah, I think they have a chance. I don't think they win, though. I know I've picked the Warriors a bunch, but I'm a little too worried about them. It's not even as much like I would be picking the Warriors over the Timberwolves. I would just be so fascinated to see how Rudy Gobert has played against Golden State in a 7-game series, because it's mind-blowing, because it's genuinely as simple as, Rudy Gobert realized he's 7 inches taller than everybody else on the Lakers. That's what it came down to.
Dorian Finney-Smith is guarding me. He's 6 inches shorter and 90 pounds lighter than me. Why don't I just go up strong every single time and crash the glass?
And my wingspan is, a foot and a half more. Oh, yeah, okay, right. Yeah, I can just grab the ball up here, and he can grab the ball down here. He can't get near it. And on top of that, the Lakers, the other thing I will say that the T-Wolves made it look so easy against the Lakers because it was that easy. Because once Anthony Edwards passed out of that double team in that series, the Lakers just committed to playing 3-on-4 on defense. And how easy is it to beat 3-on-4 in the NBA?
Without a defensive anchor center, yeah, it's damn easy. If the Lakers want to trap the ball and they have a good center back there who can actually block shots and alter shots and play 2-on-1 for a minute and make somebody think, maybe that works. When you got Dorian Finney-Smith or Rui or Luka as the odd man out in a 3-on-4, it doesn't work. So
yeah, but with the Warriors, I don't think they would have to trap Ant Edwards immediately. They could play him straight up, I think.
I would just love to see the dynamic of Jimmy Butler guarding him, or Jimmy Butler versus the Wolves, who he, famously ran those guys out of practice. Not the same guys, but
yeah, I was about to say it's none of the same players in that building, though. Like,
yeah, true.
But Jimmy Butler versus Rudy Gobert in that series, because I think Rudy Gobert would get cooked in that series.
You think Draymond would get him in a headlock again?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Another headlock, another brawl. There would be a brawl. There would be a brawl. There's going to be a brawl either way. Houston or Golden State versus Minnesota.
100%.
Because Dylan Brooks is going to get into it with Ant immediately if it's Houston. We're in for a good series either way. I'll be honest.
How much money has Naz Reid made himself this summer?
So much money. And Minnesota fans are, I don't know if they're just not seeing clearly, but they're like, we'll keep him no matter what. Somebody's going to throw the bag at Naz Reid.
Yes, he's getting overpaid.
He's that good.
He's getting overpaid this summer. And then if you're the Timberwolves, it's like, oh crap, what do we do? Naz Reid is without Naz Reid, where are the Timberwolves?
Well, it's such a good option to have, because when Rudy Gobert doesn't have it, you bring in Naz Reid. Julius Randle's having an off night or he's hurt, you got Naz Reid. And Naz Reid's a starting caliber player.
Rudy Gobert didn't have it for 4 games. And
Naz Reid did.
And like we said, Game 5, Rudy Gobert finally realized he's taller than everybody else and goes, oh, yeah, I can have 24 and 27, whatever he ended up having. Chase is in the Twitter chat right now.
Oh, boy.
And he's saying he's putting hate speech in the Twitter chat.
What's he saying?
He says, how do we keep blowing these parlays, fellas? It's because of me. I mean, let's be honest.
It sounds like a direct shot. Well, I lost my pick tonight. Kawhi Leonard decided not to crash the glass, but I don't know. We haven't hit one yet.
We'll hit one.
Tomorrow's our last chance in the first round.
That's okay. We'll go through the finals. I do not care. We're hitting one.
We're just going to go 0 for 45 and we'll just screw it.
That's fine. Yeah. Eventually, we might just have to do some lottos.
Or we'll just have to do like a plus 100 parlay. Like, all right, I'm going to take Jokic for 8 rebounds.
We tried that. We tried that yesterday.
Oh, is that when you lost them?
170. It was plus 170. We can't have a thing. Jokic shot what, like 2 of 10 in the second half? And
that was absurd.
I couldn't believe Jokic didn't get a single foul call in that second half. Zubac fouled him 3 different times, and I'm going. Jokic shot 2 free throws in that game, and he had 20+ shots. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's tough.
He had 7. I think he had 17 shots in the paint.
The parlay might be cursed.
Oh, it's for sure cursed. It's for sure cursed. I'm cursed. Chase was cursed for a minute. Somehow he passed on his curse to me, and then I'm probably going to pass it on to someone else eventually. Then I'll turn.
Dylan's carrying the parlay. And I can count on one hand how many basketball games he's watched start to finish this year.
It might not even be one.
It's probably not.
It's probably not one. There's no way. There's no way he hasn't switched to like Modern Family during an NBA game.
Or Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon sucks. Big Bang Theory sucks.
Oh, man.
Young Sheldon sucks. Chase says we can do this. It's a we thing. It's a we thing. That's why we're going to hit tomorrow. So it's like no big deal.
We're going to close the first round out strong and then go on a streak the rest of the way.
And we need to tomorrow. Everybody has to do minus 110 to better. No more minus 180s. We need higher odds. I know we're trying to hit one, but clearly that isn't working. So whatever. We're done there. Let's go to the Eastern Conference, Connor. Let's go to the Eastern Conference. I know we talked about Pacers, Cavs already. Knicks, Celtics. I am so fascinated with this series because this is kind of what got talked about in the offseason when the Knicks were making all these moves. The Mikal Bridges trade happens and everything. And then all of a sudden, now it feels like a 16 versus a 1.
This is the reason the Knicks were built and constructed the way they are. This is the reason to match up against Boston, who is the premier team in the East for the last few years. Why do you think they got Mikal Bridges, no Anunoby, to guard Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? That is the sole purpose. And even Cat, I feel like one of the main reasons you want Cat is to stretch the floor, which is exactly what Boston does with Porzingis. So this Knicks team was constructed to beat Boston. That was the goal in mind. And if you hear people talk about this series, you would think it's not even going to be close. I mean, the Celtics are minus 900, I think, on FanDuel to win the series, and maybe rightfully so, but I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I don't think it's going to be a 5-game series. I think the Knicks can compete, don't you?
Maybe. I think the Celtics have a silly game in there, but I kind of don't want to overthink this. And this is the one where I just think the Celtics just were playing with their food against the Magic, and they just ball out against the Knicks.
I'm a little, I don't know, and I might not need to worry about this at all. Porzingis did not have a good series against the Magic. Foul trouble. Didn't play a ton. He had, in the 5 games, 5 points, 1 for 8. Then he had 20 on 5 for 14. And then 7 on 3 for 10. And then 19 on 7 for 14. And then 9 points in 20 minutes on 3 for 8 in game 5. He didn't have a great series. They didn't need him to at all. But are you worried about that? Are you worried about Drew Holiday missing multiple games? Or is all that just, hey, it's the effing Magic and we'll get ready for round 2?
It's the Magic. They knew. That if it was anybody else, if it was a second round series, Tatum isn't missing a game for a wrist injury or whatnot.
Yeah,
they were resting guys. They were being cautious. Now, I will say the one thing about the series, kind of going back to what we talked about in the Cavs-Pacers series, I think I trust Jalen Brunson more than anybody else at the end of a game in the series.
I was about to fire that question off to you, and I think you're right. As good as Tatum has been, Jalen Brunson at the end of games has been unbelievable.
Christian Bond in the chat said, make one of the legs of the parlay a UFL game. That's going to have to be Dylan's leg. That's what we're doing tomorrow.
Dylan's going to have to get in the lap. Dylan's the only one that can hit a basketball pick, so I don't know if we need to take him off.
You know what? You're right. I will be taking a UFL pick tomorrow. That'll be my leg in the parlay to shake things up. I might even go soccer. I might go give us like 3 legs.
A little mixed sport parlay.
Watch me winning like Roland Garros and then UFL and then and then the Premier League as well. I'll hit all those. But back to Knicks Celtics. I think I trust Jalen Brunson over anybody else in a close game in the series, and it's kind of like what we go back to talking about in college basketball, where people were so concerned about, okay, what is Duke gonna look like in a close game? When a game gets tight, they haven't played in a ton of close games this year. What happens? And I'm curious because we didn't have to see that with the Celtics at all last playoffs. They didn't have to play any close games when it mattered, and we never really saw Tatum and Brown in closer games. And when we did, it was Jaylen Brown that was making all the big plays. And I don't necessarily know if I trust Tatum at the end of games, to be honest. He's gonna resort back to the dance step back.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's more I don't trust Jaylen Brown anymore. He can't. Jaylen Brown's not going to be the number one option at the end of these games, so it's going to have to be Tatum.
Do you trust Tatum at that point then?
Probably not more than Jalen Brunson. Like if you're giving me the scenario of it is tied with 1:30 left and it is a rock fight, it's 92-92, and somebody's got to get you a bucket, then Jalen Brunson in this series is my number one option. The only problem with that is how many times is that scenario going to come to happen? How many times is the game going to be that close with 5 minutes left? Are the Knicks going to be able to keep pace with the Celtics, for 46 minutes and get to that 2-minute crunch time where it's close so Jalen Brunson can do his thing? That's where I don't know. Because I feel like in the first round against the Magic, like we've talked about, the Celtics never really had to go fully 100%. We haven't seen one of those crazy Celtics runs that we're so accustomed to seeing in a big moment. This might be the series where it happens.
Also, at the same time, and I don't wish this, knock on wood, because I want to see a competitive series. Couldn't you see this being a series where the Knicks break down?
Yeah, I could. I really could. Because that Pistons series,
it turns into Celtics 4-0.
If Brunson turns his ankle, it's over, and they won't win a game. I mean, you can say that for a lot of people, but yeah, that Detroit series was a bloodbath for New York, and yeah, they made it out, but there was a couple games that they arguably shouldn't have won. That series honestly should have gone longer.
The Pistons lost that series. They blew that series, in my opinion.
And what they let Cade do to them, I feel like Jason Tatum is going to have a field day, if we're being honest. The way he's been playing, distributing the ball, rebounding the ball, being the focal point of the offense, I think he has a great series. I really do.
Which is crazy because, they literally designed this team to be the Celtic stopper, and Mikal Bridges is going to slow down Jason Tatum and whatnot. We'll find out in this series, but what's your prediction?
I'm gonna go Boston at 6. I think the Knicks might even steal game 1 and maybe get people talking a little bit. But ultimately, as the series progresses, Boston is more rested. They have a better bench that you can trust, and they didn't have to go through a crazy series in the first round like the Knicks did. So as the series wears on, I think we'll see the talent, the rest, and the shooting, honestly, take over for Boston. So I'll take Boston at 6.
I'll go Boston at 6 as well. I was going back and forth between Boston and 5. I think Jalen Brunson does have a big game in the Garden in game 3 or 4, and everyone gets excited. And I think the Celtics have one silly, stupid, inexcusable game in game 1 or 2 at home. People are like, what the F is going on? It's 1-1 now. But then I think the Celtics just take over, and their talent's too much for the Knicks. And I think the Knicks run out of gas in this series too.
Yeah, you can even see it even in the first round against the Pistons, like guys like Josh Hart, he's been great all year. You could see the miles on him. You really could, especially into some of these games. I don't know. I think the Knicks, they're going to put up a fight, especially early on. but nothing has made my opinion waver from all roads lead to Boston, Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's what we've been saying all year, and that's still what it seems like to me. I think they're head and shoulders above this Knicks team.
So recap this. So Nuggets, Thunder, you have Thunder in 5?
Thunder in 5.
I've got Nuggets in 7. T-Wolves, Warriors, who do you have if that happens?
If that happens, I'll go T-Wolves in 6.
I'll go T-Wolves in 7. And then T-Wolves, Rockets, who do you have?
Wolves in 5.
Same here, Wolves in 5. And then I have Cavs in 5. You had Cavs in 6. And then Knicks, Celtics. Obviously, we just gave those out as well. So, all right, that's. I think that's it on the NBA. Do you have anything else you wanted to touch on?
After the playoffs are over, we need to make a list of guys who are going to get overpaid in the offseason because there's quite a few. Nas Reed,
also
Ty Jerome. Even though
we can do a little live planning right here. I haven't texted you about this. I'm going to need your services next Monday night.
What for?
We're doing a live. We got to do a live draft lottery reaction.
Okay. Are we going to go through all the commercials, or are we just going to wait till the Hornets get screwed out of a top 5?
No, we'll wait. We'll wait till the first pick. We'll go to the first pick. Do a fun little pod with it.
Okay, I can do that.
And we'll go live on the Karterkast YouTube and Twitter pages. Go subscribe. We'll go live. You'll get our full reaction. I promise a full blown freak out if we don't get honestly one.
We just if they give the Hornets the number 2 pick again, I'm gonna be pissed. I'd rather get like 5.
So I
think
it might have been I talked with Chase about this the other day off the air. Who are the teams that you are, without question, the NBA draft lottery is rigged if they get the number 1 pick this year?
Cavs.
Cavs? Are they in it?
No, it was a joke because they've got like the number 1 pick 4 times over the last 10 years.
I was going to say the Spurs.
Well, it's the obvious answer is the Spurs because if Wemby gets paired with current Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle and then next year's Rookie of the Year Cooper Flagg, that's going to raise some eyebrows. Other than that, if Philly somehow gets the number 1 pick, that would be a little suspicious. But other than that,
the Mavs is my number 1.
Oh yeah,
it's a full circle of the Luka trade. What if Adam Silver said, "Look, LeBron's on his last leg. We need a superstar in LA. Nico, do us a favor. Send Luka to the Lakers. We'll get you Cooper Flagg in Dallas."
Revive basketball in LA, extend LeBron's championship window by 2 years, and set up the future of the Lakers, and we'll give you Cooper Flagg come June. You just have to take the heat for 6 months.
You know what Nico's been saying? Defense wins championships. Cooper Flagg, excellent defender.
That would be the all-time conspiracy theory if Dallas somehow, because they had the worst odds, right, or second worst, because they made the play-in.
3rd, yeah.
Kings
and Bulls are behind them, and then Mavs, Blazers.
Yeah.
The Rockets are in the mix apparently.
They own whose pick do they own? It's the Suns pick. They own the Suns pick, right?
Yes. The Raptors are in there.
Well, that's the thing. I'm telling you, if the Rockets lose tomorrow, I would not be shocked if they package that pick and then Cam Whitmore and a couple other guys and really get the summer rolling early.
They should. We talked about this last episode too, but get into the Giannis sweepstakes. Why not? I don't
throw your hat in the ring. Yeah, why not?
You can offer more than any other team in the league at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. You have to kick the tires at least. I don't know why not.
Outside of OKC, but OKC's not going to trade.
Unless they get beat in the second round.
What if that could be like the ultimate, how the Warriors lost to the Cavs in 16, KD then goes to the Warriors.
Yeah.
What if that's Giannis to the Thunder? The Jokic takes down the Thunder in the 7-game series, and they're like, you know what? And then like Shea Gilgeous is calling Giannis like, yeah, in the parking lot, Giannis, we need you. Please come.
God,
I'm gonna come. That's Giannis' reaction.
No,
do not.
The Rockets is a real thing, though. I don't know. What do you think? Prediction? Hornets get what?
I think they get Cooper Flagg. I don't know why.
Do you really?
I genuinely feel it this year.
You think it's our time?
I don't know what it is. I shouldn't feel this way. I think it's stupid to feel this way. I genuinely feel this way. The Hornets are getting Cooper Flagg.
I like to hear that.
What it is.
Manifest it. Speak it into existence. Genuinely, if we don't get number 1, I'd rather get 5 or 6 because at least there's less chances to screw up.
Christian in the chat said San Antonio. as well as if it's rigged. It's them
That's
or
the
the
number one
Mavs.
answer. If it's the Spurs, I might just stop watching basketball. Not really, because it'd be fun to watch, but I would be pissed.
I promise. Like, I promise I will turn into Frank the Tank. Mets lose the World Series type freak out if San Antonio or Dallas get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah,
over
we'll
the
have to start a
Hornets.
rampage on Twitter, but we won't be the only ones. There's gonna be an uprising.
Oh my gosh.
You know what though, Carter? If the Hornets get Cooper Flag, that's another $300 going in on Hornets futures that I won't be able to stop myself on.
Not just $300 in Hornets futures, also hundreds of dollars into me now that I'll be moving to North Carolina. Hundreds of dollars of me just going to Hornets games now.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. You know what? LaMelo opened up number 2 for him, so.
Oh my gosh, I want him so bad. But yeah, we will be live for a draft lottery reaction. We'll have to sync up the YouTube TVs and everything, and we'll do that. Anything else in the NBA you wanted to touch on?
How have you felt about the playoffs so far? We had one game left in the first round. I think the first round was absolutely great. Even though there wasn't, a ton of game 7s, I felt like it delivered in a big way.
Elite playoffs, top tier playoffs. This is an A-, B+ playoffs at least.
I would say there was 3 series that really didn't deliver. It was Heat Cavs, Thunder Grizzlies, and then Boston Orlando they were all kind of snooze fest. But the rest have been the rest have been such great series. Doesn't matter.
And even Thunder Grizzlies, like there were a couple good games in that.
Yeah.
And even Heat Cavs had at least one good game, and the Celtics Magic was just awful. But
yeah. But anyway, I think the first round's been great. Even the Lakers Wolves was 5 games. That was one of the most entertaining series.
Yeah, it's been way better than last year, especially, and it's just gonna. I think it just keeps getting better and better because, like, eventually when we get to see Cavs versus Celtics, I'm so excited for that series.
I am too.
And then I'm beyond excited for Thunder Nuggets. Seeing Jokic and SGA play, first 1 and 2 in the MVP voting, it's gonna be awesome to see. And I would love for the Nuggets to win that series. It'd be so awesome. Would that end the debate? Like, would you genuinely feel bad about picking SGA for MVP?
No, I wouldn't. It's a regular season award. I wouldn't feel bad in the slightest.
But Jokic had 50 wins in the regular season with this team dealing with a dysfunctional organization.
I'm not going back. I've dug my hole too deep, Carter. SGA better have a damn good series. That's all I'm going to say.
As a Carolina guy, what the hell is going on with Jordan and Bill Belichick?
The easy answer is what she must be doing to him behind closed doors must be unimaginable for him to be doing this. For him to be sitting in a CBS interview, taking orders from her like she's his effing... Like, he wasn't even doing that. I'm going to steal this line. I heard it somewhere. He wasn't even taking orders from Robert Kraft. And now he's going to take orders from a girl that's younger than us? Carter? Bill Belichick. This is the 6-time Super Bowl champion. And I was, all hyped up. He got more money for Carolina NIL before he was even hired than anybody's been able to do so far. He raised money in NIL, got Jordan to pitch in for his contract. All the boosters are fired up. And now this. And all of a sudden I see an article posted on Twitter that, Jordan, what's her last name? Hudson? Is it Jordan Hudson?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Jordan Hudson has an $8 million real estate portfolio out of nowhere, and her mom owns like a sex toy resale shop or something. And I'm sitting here like, can we get back to Carolina football?
I heard that business is booming, though.
It probably is. Business is probably booming there. But I love the idea of Bill Belichick leading Carolina to greatness, but this is going to be such a sideshow and such a circus. And I've got friends at Carolina still that work for the team. They're really close, like really locked into the team. And it's just a sideshow. And the more I hear, the more I'm like, maybe she did get Hard Knocks canceled on Chapel Hill. Maybe she did want an executive producer tag. I just can't believe she has that much power. She's in all these board meetings. She's sitting at the table in all these pictures. I think it's shocking. But what can you do? But what can you do?
Are you hating on women having power? I mean, do you want,
maybe unqualified like her? I'm not hating on her. I mean,
you're saying unqualified.
To be fair to her, she's killing it. Like, from her perspective.
What if she deserved a producer credit?
Yeah, I'm not going to say she didn't. I just think it's a sideshow and distracting, and that's what the season's going to be about. and how many camera cuts are going to be to her on the sideline, probably wearing a headset or up in the effing booth.
No, she's going to be looking like the royal family with sunglasses on with this stone cold face just in the box, just,
As much of a distraction as it is, I want to give her all the credit in the world because she has taken this and really made herself somebody. Like, seriously. Not like, okay. I can't deny that at all. So credit to her, but it's just such a sideshow and a distraction for Carolina football. I can't believe it's come to this.
You hate powerful women, Connor. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's what it is, Carter. That's what it is. Not on Carolina's campus.
Yes, it is. Actually, for sure on Carolina's campus. What are you talking about?
I just thought it was going to be this funny story of Belichick dating a younger woman, and they take pictures on the beach, and, we see her on the sidelines. She's full on running a lot of this now. It is unbelievable.
We need Coach O on the staff now. we need to get all the horn dogs on this Carolina staff.
We need Steve Belichick's opinion. What do you think?
He talked.
Oh, what did he say? I missed that.
Oh, it was on Twitter. I'll get stats department on it real quick. Christian said in the chat, will UNC get as much attention as Colorado did those first 3 weeks of Deion's first season? That's going to be the talk of college football at the beginning of the season because
100%.
It's the TCU UNC's the Thursday night opener, right?
In Ireland.
Oh no, that's Ireland's next year. I think it's in Fort Worth this year, right?
I thought they moved it. Hold on, I'm looking this up. I thought they moved it. Did I read the year wrong? Oh, it is. You're right. It is next year. Good call. Yeah, good call. Good call.
Either way, crazy. And that interview was just crazy. And
I couldn't bring myself to watch it. I'll be honest. I couldn't do it.
You didn't watch it?
I saw some clips, but I couldn't actually watch the whole thing.
It's bad.
I was so excited for Carolina to be relevant in football, and now I feel like they're relevant for the wrong reasons. I just hope they have a good year because that'll put all of this to bed. That'll put all of it to bed, and everybody will focus on Carolina having a good year. But if they go 6-6 or 7-5, we're doomed.
You know what sucks is I do like Gio Lopez a lot. I'm a big Gio Lopez fan.
Yeah, you think he starts? He'd probably start.
He's got that boy's got some wheels. I hope he starts. I think he's the best option for them to start. But
I think so too.
That's college football. We got to get into that.
Gosh,
YouTube chat.
I can't wait to hear Dylan talk about that.
They have a standalone Monday Labor Day game. So remember, like Duke Clemson when Duke beat. Yeah, it's that same game. That is going to be the story of college football. Story of honestly sports that week. Like First Take is going to lead because ESPN's like you said. We both know TV very well. The camera is just going to get cut to Jordan every effing point.
You thought Taylor Swift was bad, NFL fans? Get ready. Get ready, because we're going to get a lot of sideline pans. Oh, Carolina third interception? It's her storming off the field.
Which commentator is going to end up doing the, Musburger with A.J. McCarron's girlfriend?
Gus Johnson.
What a rocket on!
No wonder Belichick looks 10 years younger.
We got a smoke show in the 300s. All right.
Oh, man.
It's crazy, man. Like, this guy's the most successful football coach in our lifetime. And 24-year-old woman, man, she's got him, freaking Indiana Jones in that hoe, dude.
I just can't. It's hard for me to view him as the same person as the guy that won 6 rings with Tom Brady. It seems like a different person.
Do you lose respect for him?
No, I don't.
Kind of do.
You can't. I've also
70 years old and you're letting a 24-year-old run your life.
Carter, come on.
What are you doing?
We know how it is. Well, if you're 70, yeah.
But you're 70, you got a gajillion dollars and you're living on Nantucket and you won a billion Super Bowls and you're the most successul NFL head coach maybe ever. Come on.
Live a little. What else do you have to prove?
Yeah, live a little and say, hey, I'm not listening to you. I'm running my defense. I'm doing my own press conferences.
Ever since he got called on that Ring doorbell cam walking down the front steps, it's been downhill from there.
Yeah, what does she have, man? I don't know, but
I can name a couple of things that she has that he's interested in, so maybe we should just leave that alone.
Anything else in sports we need to touch on? This is fun.
Liverpool?
Oh, dude, I almost cried. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I'm not going to lie. I was going to the Charlotte airport. Obviously, I was in Carolina last weekend on Sunday watching the game. Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it was awesome. The sucky part is no one cares about soccer. No one cares about like Liverpool. And also, if you tell people like, hey, I'm a Liverpool fan now, they just think you're a bandwagon. And like, there's like, oh yeah, you're a Liverpool fan now. Like, I mean, you've known me since I was 13. I mean, it's been Liverpool I'm waking up at 7:30 Eastern time, screaming obscenities at my TV when I'm 13 watching Liverpool. So
nobody sees that behind closed doors.
It's been this way for 16 years. So, yeah, that was unbelievable. One of the best sports moments of my life. But the problem is no one effing cares. So, NFL draft, Christian said in the chat, talk about the NFL draft real quick. Real quick, Ted McMillan, how do you feel to the Panthers?
At first, I was a little not disappointed, but almost apathetic. Just like, really? I was kind of indifferent. I was like, that's what you're going to do when we have so many holes on both sides of the ball. You're going to get another receiver in the first round. But the more I think about it and the more I hear other people shit on it, it makes me feel better about it. I'll be completely honest.
I kind of like that answer.
The more I hear these big-name podcasters shitting on that pick, saying it's the worst pick in the first round, I hope he's great. I think he'll be great. And the rest of the draft was good, too. I thought they plugged a lot of holes and did what they needed to do, got some good talent. Jimmy Horn is a late-round flyer. I think it's great. Put him on the return team. You don't have a guy like that on the roster already.
Yeah, I have first-round talent I feel comfortable talking about for a lot of the bigger-name players, but I feel bad talking about, like, later-round picks in the NFL draft because I'm not sitting here breaking down. Yeah, we're not sitting here breaking down all 22 either. Like,
Did you like
we're not. Yes and no. Like, so covering BYU versus Arizona, you got like a real good up close view of him in person, and he did give up on a lot of plays in the body language. But I don't know if that was just just because of the culture around Arizona football was this last year, because it was a disaster across both sides of the ball. They had such high expectations coming into this year with Noah Fafita and what they could have done, and he still produced in a lot of ways, but there were times he did give up, but when he wanted to dominate, he would, and that's an encouraging sign. And I think the most encouraging thing is that Bryce Young is the one who demanded this pick, and Bryce Young wanted this pick, and so they're helping out Bryce Young. They clearly believe in Bryce Young, and if that's the case, I'm all in for it. I'm going to be rooting for it. I was rooting for Jalen Walker at that spot, hoping Mason Graham fell. I think if Mason Graham was there, I think he was the pick there, though, the way Canales
I think so,
was
too.
talking.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's the 8th pick, and it's not like you said, Mason Graham didn't fall. It's not like we passed on Abdul Carter. It's the 8th pick. Sure, we could have reached on Jalen Carter or reached on somebody else, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the 10th pick.
Jalen Walker.
Sorry, Jalen Walker from Georgia. Yeah, I don't know why I said Jalen Carter.
I wish we got Jalen Carter. Holy crap! But
I don't think they didn't pass on a generational talent to take Tet. I don't think, and they didn't reach. So it is what it is. It's the 8th pick. I think if he turns out to be a number one wide receiver in the NFL, like he very well could be, then nobody's going to question this.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, the Rams were trying to trade up to get him, and then the Niners were going to take him if he was available, and so were the Cowboys. So it's like, look, he was going to go 3-4 spots later. So
right, I think it's going to be fine. I mean, hopefully it pans out. I think it's the most fun pick the Panthers could have taken.
Yeah, and then Christian saying in the chat that Jalen Walker might be getting shoulder surgery. I thought I saw something about that too. And maybe the medicals came back weird on him, and but look,
trust Dan Morgan.
Yeah, and then also, if you're an elite player in the SEC, Dan Morgan's looking at you because the rest of our draft was SEC players.
They did their due diligence. Yeah, I think they're gonna be okay.
I know Dylan's not here to talk about it, but how Dylan is gonna hate Cam Ward before the season. And he's going to have to be forced into liking Cam Ward for how exciting he is. But Dylan hates a Cam Ward-like quarterback. Not
well. To be fair, from the college football preview, we were all in on Miami. Dylan and I were all in on Miami for college football.
Oh yeah, so I think we were all a pro Miami show except for Ben.
I think you're right, but especially Dylan. Dylan was all in on Cam Ward, so he should like him at the next level. Come on. Although the first time he does one of those, not hustle out of bounds or just walk to the sideline after a play, that doesn't fly with Dylan.
How boring must life be if you're loving that kind of football? You're just like, I want 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Oh man.
We don't have to talk about Shadur sliding. Everybody's talked about it a billion times. I kind of feel bad for Dylan Gabriel a little bit. I didn't think I'd be saying that.
What about Tyler Shuck? Tyler Shuck, you feel bad for him?
Tyler Shuck. We'll go to Tyler Shuck real quick because was that the dumbest pick of the draft?
I couldn't believe it. Carter, I couldn't believe it. And of course, it's the effing Saints.
That he was the classic. This dude probably looked amazing in shorts. I watched that dude play college football his entire career. It's not there. This is Will Levis. I don't get it. He's injury prone. Yes, it's been bone breaks. It's not ligaments, but he has been injury prone. Also, do I have a little vendetta against Tyler Shuck? For sure, because he cost us the parlay week 2 of last year when he threw a pick 6 with 30 seconds to go against Oregon against Texas Tech. He was terrible in that game. He was begging to throw turnovers in that game. But also, I could not believe that pick. I could not believe that pick.
I'm telling you right now, if I see Tyler Shuck trot out there as a starter in any single regular season game, I will put the house on the other side. I will put the house on the other side. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, we need to write that down. We need to have
that
a
could be
rule
one of
book
our
this year.
vendetta rules, or yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got to have that written
Cardinal
down.
rules.
NFL draft, NBA playoffs. We got the draft lottery coming up.
Go Canes, NHL.
Go Canes, yeah, shout out. Moving on to the second round. I'm excited for the Cap series. And then, I know you're a big MLS guy. Columbus Crew beat Charlotte today at 4-2.
How's Pablo Ruiz doing?
Still recovering. He's doing okay. Carolina, you nervous about Carolina basketball?
They're going to be unrecognizable next year. And maybe it's for the best, because whatever this year's iteration of the team was, I didn't love. But I'm telling you, the roster construction is making me sweat. It's making me sweat.
If I'm a Carolina fan, I'm smashing the panic button. This is
I'm glad they got a center, but who's going to give them the ball?
How do you know? You have 7 guards last season, and now you're walking in here with 0 point guards plus Seth Trimble. They don't have a point guard.
And Drake Powell going to the league was the nail in the coffin. Honestly,
I don't get any of this from Carolina. Their roster construction strategy made no sense. There's no way Drake Powell going to the league should have surprised them. Any program that's smart would have known what their players' decisions are months in advance, at least sometime in advance to be able to prepare for it.
And leading up to the season, I'm going to talk myself into some of these guys. I'm going to be like, Jonathan Powell, he's a pretty good option. But it really felt like Carolina went, you played at a Power 5 school, you had decent numbers. Let's just shoot you an offer. We'll get you. We'll hodgepodge something together. It didn't really feel like there was any meaning or purpose behind what they did in the portal. It was almost like, hey, let's make sure we get some good talent and we'll figure the rest out later. And I don't know how it's going to look next year. I don't know what the best 5 is. I don't know who's going to be the go-to scorer, who's going to bring the ball up the court every play. I don't know. They're going to rely on Caleb Wilson a lot day one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think the ceiling for Carolina next year is probably a 5 seed.
That's generous.
Yeah, maybe. Like that's
I'm
if
worried.
It's a really good season. I think they're a bubble team going into the year right away, and I think it's setting Hubert up for failure. To be honest, I don't necessarily think Hubert Davis is all that bad of a coach. It's the roster construction that has been his kryptonite.
If I just hope one of these guards pans out and is better than what they're expected to be, because that's what's going to have to happen.
Maybe.
And maybe this year with Jim Tanner now running the front office and handling all these roster moves, and he's dealing with the behind-the-scenes NIL shit, that frees Hubert up to solely focus on coaching for the most part. Maybe that helps. And maybe there's a lot of, we don't have a first-team All-American preseason coming in this year. There's a lot of unknowns, a lot of guys wanting to prove themselves. Maybe they rally around that. That would be my calling card. That's my hope as a UNC fan is they don't have a guy going in. There's not a lot of expectation. Maybe that's a good thing.
Connor,
We'll see.
I love NC State next year. I'm all in.
I don't want to talk about it.
PJ Haggerty's going to NC State. That's all but confirmed. That announcement's probably getting made on Monday morning.
Will Wade calling season ticket holders to get renewals?
The Packer back.
I hope they have a disappointing year. If they have a 500 year, I'm going to be insufferable.
Connor, they're going to be good.
We'll see.
You don't have to worry.
We'll see.
I think they might be top 3 in the ACC next year.
NC State with expectations never works out, though, in either sport. So we'll see.
But I understand when people say that stuff now, but the issue is Will Wade's NC State isn't the same as a Kevin Keats NC State or a Mark Gottfried NC State. People do that with BYU, too. They're like, BYU, they choke in the tournament every year. It's like, well, yeah, they also didn't have an NBA lottery pick on their roster.
Yeah, valid. Okay. I hope it's not a good year. I'll just say that. But it is a little scary.
Duke's looking good next year, too.
That'll be the nail in the coffin. Carolina's 500 next year, and Hubert gets beat by NC State on a Wednesday night at home by 20, and that's it.
I hope I'm there. I hope I'm there at that game. I'm all in on NC State next year, man. I mean, the second they made that hire, I was freaking out. I was like, this is it. Like, NC State, they are a program now. Because whenever you make a hire like that, that just shows you're committing. I mean, it's like Carolina in football. When you make a hire of Bill Belichick, you're saying, hey, we're going to commit all of our resources saying, hey,
to a 24-year-old
football school.
Yeah, I'm ready to back NC State, too. Like, Grayson McCall in the portal was such a great pickup.
What do you think? Yeah, do you think he even gets to, like, what do you think the last thing he got to decide was? Bill Belichick. Like, do you think he got to decide, like, what flavor of ice cream he wanted?
Yeah. Gotta be.
I don't know.
But maybe not how much. Maybe she's like, hey, sugar-free, Bill, you're 70.
Or she's just like, I don't know
we'll go with the
you're in that
keto
position,
gelato.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're in that position, you're like, get extra double chunk chocolate cookie dough and add as much salt and sodium and sugar to this as possible.
No, stop it. She's not in it for that. She's in it for the role on the sideline. Come on.
Yeah, she's in it to be a defensive coordinator.
Did they get engaged during the season?
That'd be so weird. Imagine Bill Belichick having to take a knee. Like, I feel like that's just a press release.
Secretly, what if this was a succession plan where we all thought, oh, Steve Belichick's taking over in 2 years, but actually, in an unprecedented move, it's Jordan Hudson, head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Everyone's like, why the F did Becky Hammond not get the Spurs job, but Jordan Hudson gets the Carolina football job?
Oh, it's gonna be. If nothing else, it'll be entertaining, and it'll make for great content. I can't wait for Dylan to talk about it. I can't wait for football and Dylan to talk about that.
I know. I'm getting a little excited for football, to be honest. I'm not wishing basketball away or anything, but I am getting a little tickled by football. It's gonna be a long off season, I feel like.
It is.
But anyhow, all right. Well, I think we went long enough on this.
Yeah, that was fun. Shook the rust off at the beginning. Hadn't done this.
Shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out everybody that's listening. Shout out everybody that listened afterwards on the post edit, on audio and everything. If you're listening, wherever you're listening, hit that subscribe button, 5-star review, and we will be back. We'll be doing live shows as well throughout this week. Like I said on here as well, we'll be doing the draft lottery show with Connor and I. That will be must-watch TV for you. That will be must-watch TV.
I might toss a few blue moons back before the draft lottery, Carter. We'll see.
I'll get a couple swigs in me. No big deal.
Couple swigs, a little dirty DP.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Pause. Anyhow, download SeatGeek. Use code Karterkast. $20 off your first purchase. $50 minimum purchase required. Shout out Jack. Use SeatGeek to go to Nuggets versus Clippers. The Nuggets catch the dub. Game 7 win. They move on. Thunder Nuggets. Cannot wait to talk about it. We'll be back after some game ones to record, and we'll see y'all then. Bye.